the story, where today's conversation begins with a tragedy that goes beyond music. Aspiring singer Ifunanya Nwangene has died after being bitten by a snake in her Abuja home. Now, reports say the bite occurred while she was asleep. She was first taken to a nearby clinic, but was referred after antivenom was unavailable. She was later rushed to the Federal Medical Center Abuja, where she was pronounced dead. There were also reports that 2 snakes were later found in her home. Ifunanya, who gained national attention after appearing on The Voice Nigeria, was known for her powerful vocals and was reportedly preparing for a major performance before her death. Beyond the loss of a young life, this incident has reopened conversations about emergency, healthcare response, access to life-saving drugs, and how prepared medical facilities are to handle critical situations. Meanwhile, the medical center in Abuja have dismissed claims that the antivenom was unavailable. They say all emergency protocols were given, but young Ifunanya died from several neurotoxic effects from the bite. This is a sad story, When I saw the news, my whole day went off. This is a young girl, very bright, her voice so powerful. And there's so many questions that have risen from this particular issue. We know where Lube is. Lube is like out of the outskirts of Abuja. I saw where the snake was and everything, and I'm wondering, how neat the place was, how the house was being taken care of. Was the house fumigated? Like, there are so many questions that come up. But this is this young girl being bitten by a snake. Now went to the hospital. We hear a lot of questions were being asked. We hear that there were claims that there was no antivenom, although the hospital has come out to say otherwise. But I'm not expecting them to say that, the opposite. The question we're now talking about is that how are we taking care of emergencies? How are we ready to handle cases like this? She drove herself to the hospital, tied her hands by herself, and went to the hospital, even in her pain. But it's so sad to see that they're saying that out of negligence, Nigeria has failed her.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate that in Lugbe, anybody can be bitten by a snake. It's a well-populated and developed area, and people have been living in Lugbe for years. So it's quite uncommon. So one way or the other, we don't know what happened. Whether there were nets on the window or whether the door is properly fixed, there is no gap or anything, and other precautions like checking your closet and all that, whether there's a snake coming through the drains and all that. We don't know how it happened, but the bottom line is she got bitten by a snake, and before she could get help, it was too late. Whether we have the antivenom in the hospitals at the right places at the right time, it's not just about that. I've been bitten once by a snake, and the key is to try and stop blood flow, blood circulation throughout your body, which is to tie the place. You have to do it properly. But unfortunately, she didn't make it, and it's so sad. And for there not to be antivenom, I'm sure it won't be a government hospital, probably a private hospital, who may not be expecting or storing antivenom. So it's quite unfortunate. One can only express one's condolences to our family.
I'm trying so hard to hold back tears, honestly speaking, because this story really hits home. Now finding out that there was another snake, it was 2 they found in her house, not just 1. Her brother is making a lot of allegations. The hospital has come out to say otherwise. But then again, Olamide, there is no smoke without fire. Something must have conspired in that hospital. She's no more alive to tell us what really happened. I hear they were asking her questions. What people say is that she was being asked questions when somebody has been bitten by a snake. We know how dangerous it is. And that is why I'm saying that we really need to look at negligence, Olamide, in our hospitals, because this is one too many times. You go to hospital for something, they're checking another thing. I cannot even imagine somebody has come to you with a snake bite. You should understand as a medical practitioner that you need to tie. So the fact that you're even removing it, does she have malaria? Why are you giving her drip? It's such a sad one, Ibrahim. And when we speak, people will say, oh, why you say Nigeria has failed her? But the drugs were not there. The first hospital she went to, she was sent to another one.
Well, it's not Nigeria that actually failed her, because it's not the entire Nigeria. It's actually the system. It's the negligence of the doctors, so to speak. Because one thing is that everything still remains under investigation, what really happened and all of that. As you said, she's no more, at least for us to ask her exactly what really transpired. Cobra bite can be very, very fatal. You can only survive it between 30 and 45 minutes. If you look at black mamba, it's also very, very dangerous when it comes to being bitten by it. But now we see what has happened. One thing will appeal to the government and the authorities to investigate this matter very, very well, so that we'll forestall something like this to happen again in the future. Because if it's the ineptitudeness of the doctors on duty or the nurses or whatever who is on duty, who is not able to give emergency response to snake bites, it's so sad. A country like ours, that we are not able to do that. And one more thing is that this is the dry season. It's the dry season is here. The Harmattan season is here, and we know that some of these reptiles always look for where there is swamp. They look for swampy area or cold area just for them to cool down, all of that. So as you mentioned, we have to look at our toilets, our drains, and every other place, so as not to fall
I
victim.
think fumigation as well, if I'm
It's
correct,
very,
is very, very
It's important.
It's really important.
It is.
We can go on and on, but we're going to take a breather now. But I just want to say that I pray that our family will have the fortitude to bear the loss of this young, great mind. This is a story I'm definitely following, and I'm sure that we're going to bring you more updates as time goes by. We'll take a quick breather now, and when we come back, it will be time for the newspaper review. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. This is TVC.